G2 trend of write your teammate's name on your face. So we got Tuki for Tukui. Yeah, good luck getting those right and separate. But this is interesting. So Mark Z, I'm putting your name out right now. During waiting room, said that, I'm going to paraphrase, FlyQuest should be 7-1. He said they should have beat Team Liquid and they should have beat Immortals, which would make them a 7-1 team tied for first. Mark Z said it. I'm just quoting, paraphrasing. Yeah. This is the first place team, chat.
Here's what you can quote me on. They could be 7-1.
Wow.
But they're not. They're 5-3.
Yeah, just like last split, they could have been like 3-4 when they were 6-1. So they, to me, are a much stronger team than they were in spring after 8 games, even though their record doesn't show it. So if you're TSM making all of these roster changes and hoping that, okay, we'll drop one to C9, but maybe we'll take out FlyQuest, this is the wrong time to be playing against FlyQuest because they are definitely playing like a clearly top half team in the LCS.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that the way that they're getting their wins, that you're alluding to, right? Obviously in spring, it was kind of around this Enchanter meta and playing that. And we didn't have confidence that that was going to last. Of course, that got nerfed out. And then they weren't really able to pick up nearly as many wins. Now they're playing much more standard. They're playing a very cohesive game. They're getting some strong performances out of the individuals. I think Philip, while his laning has been a problem, I think he has performed better than I expected from him. Cubby was saying that as well. In team fights, he has looked aggressive. He has been, confident to look for engages and things like this. And that all really bodes well for FlyQuest when you're already a top half team and you have someone who's brand new to the LCS in Philip, this 19-year-old rookie. There's a lot of growth opportunity for him. If he becomes a strong laner, the team could be really, really good.
Absolutely. And I mean this story positively. What I've heard is that he has had a really, really rough time in scrims. That expectations were super low based on practice. But on stage, he's stepping up. How many players have you heard of are like, oh, they're scrim gods though, and they choke on stage? He's the opposite. He steps up when it matters this early in his career. Like, I'm stoked if that keeps happening.
He seems very relaxed. I ran into him before his game yesterday, which normally you'd expect a rookie to be extremely nervous. He was very talkative, seemed very calm. And even before the match, when we had people throwing out plushies, he was putting his hands up, hoping to get a toss. So he seems very comfortable on stage, and we'll just have to see if it manifests here against Philip and FlyQuest.
Yep. Well, it's looking like it's going to be Sejuani top for Philip. I do really like Sejuani top paired with melee junglers.
Yeah.
It can actually be very, very powerful as far as the gank assist, and we're going to get to see how Soul will do in this matchup. Of course, Philip was able to have the answering pick here on 3 on red side, so are expecting him to do fairly well, but generally you're picking Sejuani more to neutralize and what you're going to do for the team comp, less about the 1v1.
So I ran into Soul this morning. So first of all, I talked to him 2 months ago, and I'm like, hey man, so you're new to the academy, that's cool. Like, how long to make LCS? He's like, I'm gonna give myself 1 year. It took 2 months, by the way. In 2 months, Soul became an LCS top laner. But I talked to him this morning as well. And I was like, so, rough start up against Fudge there. He's like, yeah, but you see when I played against Philip in Academy, I 1v9. I smurfed both games in that series. So he's like, I'm feeling confident. Like, no, we're going to shake it off. We're going to do well this time. So even when he was against an Ornn, he actually kind of clapped on Gangplank. So we'll see if Sejuani is going to look good for him. Of course, we are in the second round of drafts. Nautilus is in. Maybe a Pyke for Chime would be exciting. But looking for Engage for FlyQuest. What does it give you for TSM? For now, maybe a Xin Zhao for Spica.
Yeah, one couple interesting things about the champions in this draft. Spica had actually played, he played 5 Viego games so far this split in their 8. So that being taken away early by FlyQuest makes a lot of sense. And also, this is the first Gnar game of the year for Soul, including Academy. So in 29 stage games, he actually hadn't picked the Gnar, but in a discussion yesterday with Hooney, we were talking about how Gnar is actually just kind of re-emerging a lot in the meta and can be a safe blind. So TSM was just looking for a safe blind top laner is what it looks like.
Yeah, I actually really like the Zen as well as the Swain here. It looks like FlyQuest is drafting much more towards dive. Of course, they do have the Jinx, and Corki is going to help to round that out. But with 3 divers, Swain, I think, is really, really strong. Is very good as far as the counter engage. I think Xin Zhao works there as well. I think Corki does help to kind of answer some of what TSM has kind of drafted. If they're looking more to kind of absorb the dive and peel back, well, Corki doesn't need to dive, right? Corki is just going to poke from a screen away, constantly shoot out those rockets. And you do have 2 hyperscaling carries here on FlyQuest now with a very beefy front line, so well-rounded team fight composition. Does not look to have much power going on in the early stages here on the FlyQuest side, so I think that's where TSM is going to have to try to create some advantages, see if Soul can get the push, see if they can actually utilize that to get maybe some advantages for Spica, because I do think if this game goes slow, I favor FlyQuest in 5v5 big time.
Good to see the lanes play out as here because, yeah, talking about the composition on the FlyQuest side, none of these are bad laners. Sejuani tends to be a bully in a lot of lanes.
Affect him during the game?
A possibility as well.
I'm not sure if it's like Vix or something or what that is.
I'm not sure, but we are onto the rift, everybody! TSM! 2-6 so far. FlyQuest, in the words of Mark Z, should be 7-1. 5-3 right now, though.
You're gonna keep
FlyQuest
just hammering that, aren't
solid.
you?
I will bring it up again. Solidly, though, in third place. FlyQuest, I mean, they made back-to-back finals a couple seasons ago. Like, I would think of the teams who are sort of like the new blood in the LCS, right? Like, not the old guard or TSMC and whatnot. FlyQuest did a really, really good job of putting several incredibly strong rosters together.
Yeah, and I think the reuniting of Aframu and Johnson is starting to pay dividends for this team because especially in their wins against C9, they've had very dominant 2v2 performances. And also I feel like Jose has been able to be more involved and more on the same page with Aframu. So as I believe the oldest player in the LCS, Aframu's still performing at a very high level and in lane, right? It's not like he's just this savvy old shot caller. They're still able to outplay in the early game. And that's something that's fairly true for FlyQuest in general. They are actually one of the best early game teams in the LCS, which is one of the reasons they have looked so strong so far in summer.
And we can see they're not actually leashing, whereas TSM's bot lane is leashing. So I want to see what FlyQuest 2v2 is going to look with this. If they're actually just going to stay in the brush and try to cheese, try to look for an early hook, as TSM enters. There doesn't look like they're hitting the wave based on the minimap. So yeah, I think they're actually going to wait for TSM to walk in and look for a level 1 hook here and try to get a really good trade, which could get them 2v2 prio.
Chime could get hit. Of course, has Guardian. Anchor's not going to go for it. They don't think they want to go onto Rakan itself. And notice the positioning, right? Like, even just little crossing your T's, dotting your I's. Chime is the one who's like, if you hook, it's hitting me. Guardian pops because we're on top of each other. I'm fine here.
And who knows how this lane is actually going to play out, but historically, as we saw from Cubby talking about the laning phase of Instinct, even in Academy, he wasn't necessarily that strong of a laner. So I think what TSM is looking for with this bottom lane substitution is a more stable bottom lane. It's basically, how can Instinct not die in this matchup and then maybe be an effective team fighter late game? So definitely expect Aframu and Johnson to be the ones pushing the pace in this lane if it gets bloody.
Here's level 2. That blue minion right there. Boop. And he goes right in. That was close.
I thought that was going to lollipop onto him for sure.
Yeah, it was close. But hey, it's fine. Chime knows his distances, right? Picks the perfect accuracy. Right click here, it's fine.
I'm going to be interested to see what build Maple goes for as well. When Swain, got its initial changes, he was doing a lot of the Mandate build in Champions queue and was a pretty big fan of that. I'll be interested to see if he's going to go for that again or if it's going to be more Leandries. I really do prefer Leandries because a lot of the power in Mandate is just relying on your teammates being there to actually proc it, right? So if you are in a 1v1, if you are in a side lane, which generally mid laners have to do at some point in the game, you are significantly weaker. That being said, if you do go Mandate Rylai's, you have a lot of additional move speed when that is popped, and you have the slowdown to constantly stay on top of your opponents and keep the ultimate active all the time.
Yeah, my guess is going to be Leandries, especially with the way the team comp is playing out. Primary magic damage for the team, as well as having a Sejuani and Nautilus to cut through, makes the most sense. But yeah, especially, Azale, especially if you're on ARAM, you got to go with Mandate on Sway.
Sure, yeah, your team is always around. Fair enough. Strats here. For those of you ARAM only players watching the LCS, hey, Mandate, very good on Ashe, very good on Swain. And hey, by the way, Leandry's Mnemonic now stack on the live game, so you don't eat your teammates by buying one either. Yeah, they finally fixed that one. So next week you can get 2 Landers in the same team for the LCS, but already good on live. Just so you know, for all the ARAM heads out there. Philip pushed into the turret. Farming pretty well though. Soul dropped around 8 minions on the first 4 waves pushed. So not having the best time so far, but gets a good trade back there. Grasp had gone through, but Soul has the health lead. But now without cooldowns, gonna back up. Josedeodo is on the way. Ward comes down in time to spot it, and yeah, it's not gonna be much, honestly. He would have seen the ward go down and knows, I don't have much of an angle here.
His wave is in a pretty awkward spot though, right? It is a little bit dangerous if you're not sure if the jungler is around. And you are, kind of in that neutral position just outside the enemy tower. So we'll see if Philip's going to push it back towards him or if he's going to try to reset there.
Oh, nice anchor. Going to land a Zeri root. Not quite in time, though. Instinct able to jump back, and that means huge damage on Aframu. Able to walk away, stays alive. Heal is held as the flash is down and everything else, but Instinct happy to keep going now and push the wave in.
Really nicely done by Chime there to do a little half turnaround. It did cost them the Ignite, though, which is what kind of let them win the trade. It will make their next all-in less lethal if Afro is able to heal up a bit.
Still, they got the flash off Afro, so it's well worth it in the trade. The chompers from Johnson just not quite fast enough to be able to actually chain. If they were able to land that, I think it goes very differently, but because that wasn't there in time, you know, Instinct just dashes back and then is able to return fire very easily there on Afro.
Well, we got FlyQuest heading down. Now, nice ward, though, put down already. That Trinket sees, hey, something's happening, and they're like, you can hold the lady. Wow, interesting. They're not going to build a freeze here. They're going to clear the wave out as Instinct walks away and looks for a recall, probably.
Yeah. I want to see if they try and push this wave and quickly sneak in for Dragon. One of the ways FlyQuest has been able to get these early game advantages on teams is they start Dragon stacking very early. That might have been a window to take one, but it would have really messed up the wave. So they're making sure that Johnson can get his farm, get his item, and probably reset. And I think Dragon's going to wait for later.
Yep, looks like he is going to reset. We can see that Chime is just heading out towards mid, you know, potential roam here. And it is, in fact, going to be the Mandate build here for Swain. So he's going for it again. This has been mostly what I've seen Maple build. You know, he plays a lot of champion skew, and pretty much every time I see him playing Swain, he goes for it. So it is interesting, but it seems to be, you know, his preference. Yeah. And we'll see if that can work out for him. You know, I am definitely expecting him to go Rylai's second with this. I'm actually more of a fan of Rylai's first into Mandate second if you're going to go for this type of build, because I do think it gives you more of kind of the solo lane power. Oh, yeah. But of course, Mandate at least gives you a little bit of mana regen, and that can be useful for lane.
Yeah, well, we are into this one. As far as I can tell, anecdotally, people have mostly gotten off Mandate build. I see the most Swains I see are doing Leandry's builds. For sure. But yeah, he's about the teamfight version.
Maple thing, though.
Yeah, and hey, look, it's not bad necessarily, but I think in the average game it underperforms. So we'll see if it gets the right game state for Mandate to work well for him. Instinct back in the lane, Noon Quiver, always the power spike you want on an AD carry. If you're farming well, you'll get that before mid lane is at 6. So again, if you're farming well, you can like get away before TF6 or, you know, a Swain Norm or whatever. So has Noon Quiver, feels pretty solid there. Not quite the components there for Johnson.
Yeah, on the Mandate question, Freak, I'm looking at our favorite site, Wallalytics here.
Yeah.
I got Leandry's is built about 5 times as much as Mandate, but the win rates are within 1%.
Scroll down to the first item win rate, not mythic win rate. Because a lot of Mandate builds are Rylai's Mandate, and that's going to change.
It's 2% different as a first item. Yeah. But Rylai's first would be 54, which is slightly above Leandry.
Yeah, so I like Rylai's first actually quite a bit on Swain.
To me, when they're that close, it makes it conditional based on your team confidence.
I like Rylai's first builds, right? To Josedeodo's point, and I think, you know, in that world, you can look pretty solid. But yeah, Mandate first for solo queue underperforms. Pro is a different beast, obviously. And so we'll see how it plays out. Ultimately, at the end of the day, obviously solo queue data does not always apply one-to-one to pro, but it's a good jumping off point for anyone out there who's like, I want to do analytics. Like, you get a good inspiration, and then you kind of go from there.
For sure. I mean, I feel like that's true with most statistics, right? It's like they can just inform your discussion rather than, you know, dictating the discussion completely. Of course, this game pretty passive here early on. Both teams feeling happy to kind of trade farm, and I will say that, you know, this does bode well, I think, for FlyQuest when you're playing Corki Jinx with multiple frontliners.
Got him this time.
Gonna be locked him. A huge damage after is flash up, but able to walk away pretty safely and careful. Will there be a flash follow? No, not going to be in range. Everyone jumps away in time. The Josedeodo cannot land that stun, and it will be walked away again. Heal burned by Johnson. 50 little gold. Tukui doing a great job just warming up on a scaling pick. Happy to kind of have control since there's really not any items on his opponent mid laner. Doing very well on that one.
Yeah, so really a fairly conservative game so far, and this would be the gank that looks for them to start the dragon, but they really don't have the mid move right here. With Corki mid, he doesn't have the shove, and Maple can push him right off the dragon.
Finds a slow, Afro hooks right back out. Half cool now by hitting a wall. That control ward's still not cleared out, so Instinct and Chime are on vision. I'm not sure they even saw them jump over. This could be danger. Here we're gonna go. Nice side step. Instinct in range to jump the wall. Gonna stay alive.
And nicely done by TSM. The bot lane and Maple push FlyQuest off the dragon while Spica is actually taking the Herald on top side, so they deny the ability for FlyQuest to actually get the cross-map trade. And they just go positive in that, and we'll see how much they're gonna be able to actually get from the Herald now.
Yeah, and I think this little sequence we just saw here is one of the reasons Corki, that's like the weakness of Corki, is in the early game, you're not able to make those moves. Sure, if he gets to Ludens and Hydra and Manamune, he's going to have amazing power with his rockets later. But here, he was unable to support the dragon, even if the other jungler was taking the Herald. So TSM kind of taking advantage of playing against the Corki early, but now they have to get something out of the Herald.
Of course, first package, I believe, spawns at 10 minutes, so there's no way to use the sort of true Corki ultimate in that situation. No, it's definitely yours. Get off. But, you know, in 30 seconds, he can take his recall, he can TP if he wants to, or just walk with the increased move speed of package. And we may see FlyQuest go for their early dragon here. But yes, TSM, boys take a small gold lead. FTX gold advantage, actually pretty much tied right now, but a Herald means 300 gold at minimum. And just like that, before it comes in, TSM make the run for Drake. They claim it before there's ever a chance at package, and they get everything.
Yeah, I think they're actually in a fairly good situation right here. If they can get Maple's Imperial Mandate before the next Dragon fight and can complete a couple Mythics, they'd be in a pretty decent position to think about stacking Dragons, especially when I look at the way Soul is laning top lane. Mercury Treads and a Call, but I would say his forward percentage this game has been extremely high. Every time I look up there, he's pushing Philip into his turret, which will generally mean that it's hard for Philip to become involved in anything in this game, and Soul more likely be able to get into the fights.
I mean, he's even taken a plate up there,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not saying Gnar, Sejuani, he's like, oh my gosh, you're winning, no way. But like, he's playing that aggressively. He's taken a plate off the lane. The one Josedeodo gank, he sniffed out just on instinct, because he was sitting in a tri-bush on a controller, and he's like, I should ward here. Oh, I'm safe, cool, right? Like, he's played this one pretty immaculately. He had like a very brief visit from Spica to say hi, but otherwise it's been really good by Soul.
Kempug Chainsword for Spica, first item, is actually just what he bought up. So it is way more efficient than it had been in the past. So, you know, a lot of these items, healing reduction items, you don't need them only just as an anti-heal type thing.
Yeah.
But I have never seen this from a first item as a Zen.
Good flash gets away from Phillips. Roam down to the middle lane. Jose, going to be around for much, but really well done by Maple to walk away.
Like, it is interesting, right? Because there's obviously not really any healing besides the Viego on the other side. Yes, it is fairly efficient, but like, this means his Mythic is going to be so late into the game, right? And the Mythics are also super efficient, especially when you're playing against 3 melee. I feel like your first Mythic is going to be such a big spike, right? It's so easy to actually land a multi-man heal.
Yeah, of course, Gordon can certainly do a lot, but yeah, as far as like just stats, the amount of attack damage, health, ability haste, it beats most Mythics on stat efficiency. Now again, yes, Gordon active certainly matters, right? Let's
especially
be clear about that.
3 melee, right?
Of course, but yeah, it is the most AD and health you can get at this point in the game.
Yeah, 55 AD, 250 health, and 25 ability haste. Hasn't fought a champion yet, so no healing reduced.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a lot of healing reduced this game. Spoilers.
Yeah.
There's just, I mean, it's going to be Viego. That's like about it, right?
Viego, summoner heal, and then,
but it is interesting, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those changes that, like, I think was a little bit strange, to be honest with you. You know, making like the anti-heal items just like more kind of generically strong means that, you know, there's more opportunities to build them, but you just kind of randomly build them. But looking towards topside, the tower has been chunked down. Second plate about to fall here, and the Herald is going to come out, so they're going to get it down. They won't be able to finish it, but it'll be down to 1 plate.
Looks pretty good here. So Soul's going to get his half credit, another 160 onto him. Really, really well done there. And yeah, he's just happily winning his lane up there. He told me early this morning, it's like, yeah, man, I 1v9 when I fought against Flygo's Cat, when I fought Philip before he went up to the main team. So try and do it again there. I like it. I'm glad the man's confident.
He was equally confident against Fudge.
He was. It did not go well. He knew it.
But if you're going to be confident or not confident, I'll always choose confident.
Yeah. I'm looking for solo queue data, by the way, on this item versus Xin Zhao. 440 games in the last month.
Yeah.
It's really low.
Yeah.
No one does it.
I've literally never seen this. Junglers, especially in pro play, junglers are relatively low economy generally, you know, compared to solo queue.
Yeah.
So usually like Mythic first is just always going to be the answer because it's a long time often until you get to your second item there. It's not like you're playing mid or AD where you're going to be funneled as Trendus down a farm. But Instinct in the area, they're going to find this play.
That's after Sean knocked up. That's got to be first blood. And it's Glenn. The Kempug Chainsword is undefeated at first blood.
Yeah, actually the 7th game out of 9 games, TSM has been able to get first blood as well. And they're in a very powerful position right now in the game. So not only did they pick up the first blood, looking at the top lane, they have teleport advantage on Gnar versus Sejuani. And it's about to become unleashed in about 5 seconds. So the second dragon is also going to be very takeable by TSM.
That's going to be exciting. Maple, he just do battle with Tukui up in the middle lane. Teleports indeed do convert now at 14 minutes in, and it's going to be the wave clear. This is pretty much the timing, right? Clear the wave with 4 seconds to go. Recall, take package, walk down. That's the basic Corki timing. T-minus 1 minute, clear the wave, go. But we get some little time for Philip. No plates left on the turret, but does get some damage there. And so we'll take his farm and look for his teleport play.
And with Philip having the push, he could theoretically just move towards bot, but that would mean giving up your first tower top. So I don't really know that it's worth it. We can see this one more time. Instinct was in the pit. The Zeri laser slows down Afro. In goes Chime. And as soon as he gets hit by the knockup from Chime, Afro knows he's dead. No use using the flash there.
And really good. Gets a charm as well on Josedeodo, but far enough away, it's not going to be a problem. Bot lane is being pressured. Nice attempt by Maple to help out, but They're all going to be able to sidestep it.
Here comes Spica, though.
Yeah, Instinct feeling safe again. They know, hold on, he's stepping up because he's got a teammate. Indeed, Spica is on that ward. Dragon is up. Corki should have packaging. He does.
I mean, Soul can teleport into this if they can buy a little bit of time.
But he won't have any Mega. His Mega actually just expired, so it's not really that threatening. We'll see if they want us to look for it.
He is in base. They get Tukui to package away to safety. And that means TSM own it because, honestly, it was smart by Soul. He hit the recall. So Philip's like, look, I can't stop him. He's in base. He can always TP 5v4. And they're like, yeah, you're right. We don't want to take that play. Maybe they made the teleport, maybe something, but FlyQuest going to have to give their third straight objective.
It is interesting, right? Because in that situation, I feel like maybe it's even worth Philip using his ulti to just stop the recall if they're that concerned about it. Package is such a power point that, taking that dragon, stopping any potential stack towards Soul would have been a pretty big deal. But TSM are going to grab that second dragon. Going to be feeling pretty good about it. And Soul does hold on to the TP anyway, so not even going to be able to force that out.
And I got to say now, 15, 60 minutes into the game, TSM up 1,000 gold, 2 Drakes. You will say, like, the scaling of the Corki Sejuani probably a little bit better than what TSM has to offer, but just the style that we're seeing out of TSM right now, much more conservative than we've seen in the past. They've overstepped in a lot of the losses they have. Now it looks like they're trying to push the tempo a little bit by forcing this Rift Herald, but it should just be able to be taken since FlyQuest took the bottom turret with their tempo.
Chime is a flank angle. He does not have flash, but he has ult. He's going to walk right in the front line. Be careful, buddy. Lands the double charm, just back to his team, and he's going to even get the next target as well. So Sejuani going to be the attack. Chime barely alive, ignited, but shouldn't die just yet. And now here comes Swain. Does Maple get his way in? Does he find the help with the teammates? Nice shot onto the back. And Maple has to burn an early stopwatch. This is a lot of danger. He's going to find another stun, but he's still pretty tanky. Fill up low on help, but no one's around to deal any more damage. So it will be Herald claimed by FlyQuest. Josedeodo pops the eye, gets it. No casualties.
Yeah, good for TSM. A little bit surprised that FlyQuest actually tried to force that hard into the Swain. Afro flash ulting after the missed hook onto an ulted Swain there. Not allowing the ult to even reset. They do get the stopwatch at the very least, but TSM obviously playing kind of like a more reserved game, as you were saying. But I also think it's partially because FlyQuest just seems happy to just scale, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're not really forcing anything at all either. Both teams are just kind of sitting back. TSM has won out in the small little skirmishes around objectives to get advantages there. But for now, I think FlyQuest's read is that we wait for the the tier to finish stacking. We get the Ludens on Corki, we get 2-3 items on Jinx, and then we're just gonna win. Whether or not that's right, we'll have to actually see. Some more interesting builds coming out. Spica looks like he's going towards a tank mythic, so it's not going to be a bruiser mythic. I'm expecting to just be Sunfire. Sunfire seems really, really strong these days, and after the buffs to HP on the tank mythics, a lot more people are kind of mixing them in. Even some like the AP bruiser builds that Kobe likes talking about a lot. Things like Shyvana, you can do Demonic plus Sunfire, and this is maybe kind of the evolution of that a little bit here. Chempunk plus what I'm assuming is going to be a Sunfire, but it could be a different option as well.
Yeah, I feel like there's reasons for all three. I think Iceborne is the most awkward.
Iceborne seems weird. You already have a slow on your W and stuff.
E-auto is already a slow. The AoE can kind of matter. Just going the full chem synergy makes sense just to get in range to play the combo. And if you're just going for like full damage, like Sunfire, he just really is quite strong. But yeah, has looked good. Looking for a play now. A little bit of the slow, and Spica walks right back in, takes the trade for a bit, gets away from the hook. After gonna go for the ulti itself, and Spica gonna take his own ult for safety. Josedeodo not pushed out because TB comes in. Right there for the double stun, and Soul sets up a duo. That's gonna be Johnson running away as well. 3 kills now on the board for Spica.
Oh, the TV timing there from Soul was perfect. Coming in as Mega, gets the 2-man Meganar into the wall. They pick up both the kills. TSM opening up a pretty big lead at this point now. 2K up here. 1:30 until the next dragon. Maple's going to take down this top lane tower for sure as well. So the gold lead going to extend, and TSM likely to hit 2 items on a lot of their carries here before this next dragon fight, which is going to be a really big deal.
Huge momentum swinger, and again, the kind of the space that Soul has since he's been able to win this matchup so handily is what unlocks that. That spot on the map has actually just been a death zone for TSM this year. If we think about the game they lost to EG, that was the 5-0 fight that ended up losing them the game entirely. So some really bad memories in that zone, but able to come out here. Like the start of this actually looks pretty haphazard, right? Like Chime just bails, Spica's doing everything he can to get out, but then they're like, oh, actually, we have Meganar, no one can interrupt this teleport. Time to switch the buttons. Beautiful stun into the wall with the last little bit of Mega, and they pick up 2 more kills for Spica.
And that's one of those situations where you wonder if the communication could have been better for FlyQuest. If you know that TP is arriving and he's already Mega, then Jose and Tukui need to flash out, right? They need to flash before he actually arrives because the Mega was about to expire, and that's something that could be communicated in that situation. You know, if Philip is calling, hey, he's got like 3 seconds on Mega, he's coming in. If you flash early, maybe you can actually get out of that situation. But a great TP from Soul, you know, making the most of that situation. They're going to take another turret down on the bot side, nearly 3K ahead now here. We'll see if FlyQuest is going to actually try to challenge. Package picked up right now by Tukui. You can see him on the mini-map coming out very, very quickly. So FlyQuest is intending to challenge, and they do have their 2-item spike here in the mid laner.
They're so down in multiple other items, though. Zeri has 2 items, Xin has 2 items. Let's see if Package makes a difference. It doesn't look like they want to give it away. They're at least going to poke.
Mini Gnar, though, just transformed back down, and Soul has not been able to shop with the money he got from the bottom turret. So there's plenty of gold in pocket that cannot be spent. Of course, the teleport is down here for the young Canadian. But we've got a 3,000 gold lead otherwise. And as you mentioned, the items are there. That's the important part to actually measure. Package. How much time will you buy before it times out? You got a little bit here. Chime goes for the charm, gets 1. Looks for a second. Double knock in the bear. And they're going to dive right on. No way out for Johnson. He'll drop. Spica's on a rampage now. 4 kills in a row. Maple knocks down Tukui. Package or not, it does not matter. And he goes in for a bit more. Ulti to save there. Josedeodo. Flash to follow. Maple finds another. Spica's on for 6. He's going to keep on going as he gets number 7. KW will not quite land, and someone else will find that kill. But the Drake will certainly be claimed. Soul comes in. Hello and welcome to the LCS in your second game. You're the difference maker. TSM 7-0.
7 kills to 0, 3 Drakes to 0. This is a completely different result than basically everyone was expecting coming into this FlyQuest game.
Speak of 5 kills now on the Xin, way ahead of the pace of the game here. Maple was on his 2-item spike as well with the Mandate plus the Rylai's. 2 items were in there for Instinct. The biggest difference felt like just no sums available on Johnson, though. And Chime just has a great flanking angle here, right in from the bot side. Spica comes in. There's no flash available, so Johnson has no way out here. Chime even going to be able to escape. And with Johnson down, Tukui tries to go for the hero play, package straight in, but he just gets erased by Instinct and Maple, and there's no damage left in the comp.
Yeah, looking back at this fight, I think FlyQuest definitely had some mixed ideas. Philip trying to one-shot the Rakan doesn't do much. He needed to use his Sejuani ultimate on the bulk of TSM so that then they could buy time for Johnson to solo, but they just got completely spread out. Tukui goes one way, while the Sej goes the other, and that's the reaction from them. They know this game is now almost out of reach.
And that is the danger when you're playing this style of composition. When you have 2 carries, like 2 damage sources here, you've got to protect them. And if they're not enabled in the fight, you are really, really low on damage very, very quickly. And with Johnson going down, and maybe they shouldn't have even fought without having flash on him. As soon as Chime had that flanking angle, you know, that really was the difference maker. Now they are so far down, you know, they can't really afford to continue playing slow, because if you give over the Hextech Soul, that is a huge advantage there for TSM.
Also want to give some credit to Chime. We've done a lot of talk about Soul, but this guy has definitely had a journey. He spent a lot of time on Golden Guardians Academy, actually played Golden Guardians LCS in the summer of 2021, only to go back to Academy this year. Had a rough start to Academy summer, but found this opportunity on TSM and trying to make the most of it. I'd say this game on Rakan, he has had very good engages, played a good defensive lane, waiting for his team to be lined up, and right there was the starter of the fight that may have broken open the game.
So far, so good. TSM looking to find their 3rd win. As, Chime's engaged them good. Soul has, remained in control, and obviously, I mean, we can kind of list everyone who's made good plays, right? TSM handled a lot of the pressure on the bottom lane. It has been a solid game, and it's cool to see with 3 new players stepping up, many of them just hard rookies, actually stepping up very well against a team that has demonstrated excellence. Like, we know FlyQuest are actually a good team in the LCS. This is not a fluke 5-3. They are a very good team in 3rd place right now, and TSM, they got clapped by Cloud9. Okay, sure, Fudge, put a cannon up in top lane, but bouncing back after that game and stepping up to a very good one is impressive to see.
Absolutely. And for FlyQuest side, you wonder if they're just not kind of giving enough respect over to TSM, right? They're drafting what is kind of like a very passive comp. They're playing an extremely passive game, and maybe just expecting that they're going to run over TSM in the team fight stage, but has not been the case whatsoever. Now Zhonya's even coming through. You know, the item completions are just being pretty massive. And when you're looking at the gold advantage on the top side of the map, it's a good 2K up in both top and jungle. Like, that is where most of the advantage is. So the carries, Tukui and Johnson are not that far behind, but their top side is so far down. So, FlyQuest, if they can take fights where Spica and Soul aren't involved, then that could go okay, but they're going to continue looking for
the
him.
ult. He's going to burn it early. He tried to
Nicely
predict
done.
the Mega Gnar, and he waited it out. So well done by Soul, times it out. Knocked from the wall, and yeah, Baron, as you mentioned, should be a pretty obvious call. No jungler to steal it.
I think FlyQuest will definitely try and contest this. It's a question of how many missiles can Corki land. I think FlyQuest is going to try and make a fight out of this. They teleport into Sejuani as well.
Maple's behind them. Like, this is impossible. If you go in and Maple comes in behind, so they're going to try to turn on Maple here.
You get the ult out early.
Yep, and Mythic doesn't do much in a 1 versus 1, so as long as you can get Philip out of range, this will eventually time it. You can see the bar ticking down.
Chime has a good position, though.
And the ulti ends, but no one is around for the steal. It's a Baron claim. Maple bought enough time, and Chime does find his first little bit. Johnson, he's slowed by the house. He's still going to be able to flash just to safety. Staying alive, but he's summonerless.
That's so huge, though, because 40 seconds before the Dragon Soul, again, you're going to have a Jinx with no summoner spells to protect himself. And, I mean, I can just imagine this fight. Spica just flashes in and tries to 1v1 him. I don't know how FlyQuest can contest this Drake and realistically expect to win.
Absolutely. I mean, Chime has flash, Spica has flash, Soul is going to have flash, right? That is a dead Johnson. It just hasn't updated on the screen yet. That is a tough one to actually try to fight out. But TSM had a great setup for the Baron, right?
Yeah.
They have Maple answering mid. You can't actually give the flank to the Swain or he'll get erased, so they try to turn on him, but that buys so much time, and Chime is behind them as well.
Gotta get something.
Takui does have package, so that's something working for them. If he can land a tremendous amount of poke, maybe they have a chance, but it's going to be all about Johnson.
They just gotta go, I think. If they try and fight early, that's their best chance.
And they're going to look for Tukui getting slowed up. Going to package around. A lot of spots being taken. And Soul drops. One so far. After going to burn the zone. He's packaged pretty well right now. Disengaged though and a death onto the support. But he yoinks back. Well done. That is the 80 carry gun. Azina flies in. Zonia's popped and here we go. It's time for Instinct to go for broke.
No way.
Number 4. Give it to him. You better not steal this. The kill comes through in his second ever LCS game. What is it with TSM 80 carry stand-ins and first week pentakills? Instinct seals the deal. The Dragon will drop. Soul is claimed. Baron is claimed. And TSM's first win on this new roster will be claimed as well.
What a fight and what a moment for Instinct there. Getting the pentakill here. 13-1, a 10K with the Soul as well here. TSM are crushing today.
Watching this fight one more time, you knew FlyQuest had to try something, so they burn all of their cooldowns onto Soul. Yes, they do get the kill, but look at what they extended themselves to. The dive comp trying to go into a Swain with the Imperial Mandate will give extra damage, and the move speed, as if Zeri needs more move speed to run people down. Gets the triple, gets the quadra, and then everyone back away. You do not want to steal his pentakill.
Absolutely, I love that.
I would alt F4 briefly. I'd reconnect. You just see the summoner disconnected thing, you know?
I've got to say, though, credit to FlyQuest. I think it was a good attempt. There was no ult on Chime at the start of that fight, and I think that's what prompts them to try to really force, right? And they did get that early kill onto Soul, but it's TSM far too strong. You can see FTX Gold advantage 10K in the lead for TSM. They are on the push here. Going to look to try to close this one out, or at the very least, deal lethal damage, knock down a couple inhibs, because they are just monstrously ahead, and it's going to be up to Johnson and Takui to try to make something happen.
Just about 6,000 on the Red Bull Baron power play. Weirdly, the graphic does not show pentakills earned during Barons, but that one's in there as well. Count out on the scoreboard for Instinct here. You have to give up the top inhibitor at this point. Anytime you're defending while down, you always mount your defense around a turret. You pick one that you're most happy to fight around. Top outer, yeah, we maybe skip that one. Mid, maybe you try on that, but at least Nexus turrets is kind of the attempt. But once the turret's going to be given, you probably never fight for the inhibitor unless the position gets really weird. So 11K gold lead now for TSM. Look for their third win to round out the first round robin. With a 1-1 record of the new roster, certainly a better look than the old one had.
Yeah, it's been such a strange split for TSM because I would say even their old roster had a lot of close games which they were unable to close out. The big difference with this one, to me, is just how conservative they were playing, right? It never felt like they were over chasing into a zone. Most of this game was fairly measured play around objectives, and then they were able to find the right fight. So that looks like the style that TSM is going to be going for with this new squad if they decide to keep it together.
We'll see. Well, of course, we'll see them more next week. See what iteration they're going to go for. I know they're actively trying to find the correct roster for this team, but a win over FlyQuest is a high-quality win, and they look good while doing it. Unless they massively throw, and it's a heartbreak. This will be TSM going for number 3. Philip going to keep trying to wave clear Josedeodo. And of course, a Hurricane Jinx, good at that as well.
Yeah.
Sieging on Zeri is okay. She has an 8 escapes. Her Q is decently long range, so she can get turret chunks in, but for now, they are waiting for Maple to split push.
Exactly, and they're waiting for that top lane wave as well. Supers are coming in top. The wave is going to be crashing bot here. That is kind of the timing that they're looking to punish on, but they don't have the wave synced up with mid and bot. Jose, though, getting low.
They look under 1K here as well. Not enough to execute, but maybe going to just walk right in, say you're not allowed to play for this one. I like the RS positioning. TSM making the right call to ensure that this turret is going to be getting, and they're going to look at mid lane now as well. So triple inhibitor going to be pretty much a guarantee. FlyQuest still need to heal. Triple inhib, incredibly hard to come back from, of course, here as well. Not even counting the 12,000 gold lead.
But think of all the free gold.
Think of all the gold you could theoretically earn if TSM don't end the game.
And I know it's a small thing as they might try and end the game right here if they can get a kill on Philip.
He's tanky. Slow resist is now gone as well, but down to 1,300 health. Going in by the Swain as well.
FlyQuest might try.
And they just might try. Now Soul, fully minion Arslan's gonna land. They're gonna try to get out Maple's ulti, but he's slow by the Rylays. And Philip will indeed die. Soul nearly Mega Gnar. Aftermoon incredibly low. Stun's gonna land. Shine finds the charm, finds the knockup, finds the follow through from Soul, and gets out with his life. Well done by Chime on support. So able to walk out as well, and TSM now in a 5v3, and call it an 8v3. They got super minis floating in for all 3 lanes now as well. Lick the runes for a second, but you gotta believe they can close the game out on this push.
Yeah, they're gonna try utilize a TP, get another member back at full health. Instinct low on mana, but full on damage. So I think it's just a matter of time before they end this one.
Flash in for the slow, almost knock up ulti for safety now as well. Zonia's out for Josedeodo.
And they're so low on TSM's side.
Yeah, the health bars are low. You
a bit about
are
resets.
forgiven to fully reset, but the ult's already back now for Maple. Johnson has to run the Fern Flash again. Package could be good. Next could fall, though. Zeri gets one. Legendary for Instinct. The Nexus falls. TSM's new roster finds their first win.
Another pentakill for the TSM 80 carry. It really does bring back memories of 2013 Wild Turtle, Caitlyn in the bottom lane. This was Instinct Zeri at the Dragon Pit. But what a moment for Instinct. It felt like a very conservative game for him before it blew up. I think a lot of engages by Chime, some good plays by Spica, and a lot of smiles right now for TSM.
Yeah, I mean, you love to see it, how happy Soul is. And I also love that it goes straight to Huni.
Yeah.
You know, goes to Huni for the hug there. And Huni talking yesterday about, kind of the relationship that they have.
It's a 2v1 lane.
Exactly, it's a
Huni's
2v1
brain.
lane. It's Huni's brain in Soul's hands. It works out for TSM today. It's got to be a big confidence boost for the team, a big momentum boost here as well to show that you can do it at this level, that you can take down one of those teams that has been performing very well in the LCS.
So, 2 promotions from Academy on the TSM side.